Weeknight on CHEK News.
Radical change. A proposed deal will see the biggest landlord on Vancouver Island get a new owner.
We got our fingers crossed that the new owners will not log the last of the old growth.
A police standoff shuts down a Victoria neighborhood.
We're erring on the side of caution. He does have an extensive violent history with police.
He scores! And Canuck fever strikes BC.
They're going to win because I'm wearing this.
Now, Vancouver Island's most watched newscast, CHEK News. Here's Tony Parsons.
Good evening. It was the moment in the federal election campaign that many observers have been waiting for. This evening, the leaders of the four big political parties clashed in a 2-hour-long TV debate. The CBC's Eric Rankin was watching, and he has the highlights.
Weeks of preparation boiled down to this political pressure cooker. Conservative leader Stephen Harper, Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff, and the NDP's Jack Layton hoping to score crucial points. The Bloc's Gilles Duceppe, the feisty spoiler with nothing to lose. Each question sparked a 6-minute one-on-one debate between two leaders. First up, Harper and Duceppe.
We cut taxes several years ago across the board.
I would first like to congratulate Mr. Harper for answering a question from a citizen for the first time in this campaign.
Each one-on-one was then followed by a free-for-all, and it didn't take long for the latest hot-button issue to be pushed. The leaked draft report from the Auditor General, alleging the Harper government misspent millions on the G8 summit.
This wasn't stimulus. This was just scattering money around to build gazebos and fake lakes, and Canadians don't have confidence in your management of the economy because you waste public money.
Once again, Mr. Ignatieff, you're citing a report that the Auditor General's office said should not be relied upon. We've been very clear these projects have all been publicly disclosed.
You've become what you used to oppose. You've changed in some way.
I think it's
the most anticipated one-on-one halfway in between Harper and Ignatieff.
We're asking Canadians for a clear majority so we can get on with the nation's business and focus on the economy.
But Mr. Harper, you haven't earned a majority. Majorities are things you earn when you earn the trust of the Canadian people. And you haven't earned the trust of the Canadian people because you don't trust the Canadian people.
I've gone across this country, not just during campaigns, to meet regularly with Canadians from all walks of life. I don't think this kind of political bickering, personal attacks back and forth is frankly going to do anything for Canadians.
You keep using this word bickering. This isn't bickering, Mr. Harper. This is democracy. You trust the Canadian people so little that when you didn't like something on some young person's Facebook, you toss them out of their meeting. When a veteran wants to ask you a tough question, you make sure he doesn't get into the hole. What kind of respect is that? You've got to walk the walk here, Mr. Harper, and you haven't.
The four party leaders will meet again Wednesday night in the French language debate. A big change may be coming for BC's biggest landlord. A $1 billion deal will see Timber West, which owns 10% of Vancouver Island, turn into a private company owned by a pair of multi-billion-dollar public sector pension funds. Kristen Robinson reports.
Workers sort raw timber at Ladysmith's Dryland Sort. These logs come from Timber West's nearly 328,000 hectares of land. The company is BC's largest landowner, and most of its holdings are in Vancouver Island. With a provisional sale in the works, approximately 10% of the island, the white and green areas on this map, could be sold if Timber West accepts a $1 billion bid from two pension funds that would see the publicly traded company become private.
This doesn't signal changes in management or approach. So from our perspective, we see the operations continuing as they currently do within the overall forest policy framework we have here in British Columbia.
The forest minister has no involvement in the sale, but Timber West says the new owners are committed to business as usual at the company's timberland operations and real estate division. The forestry giant says it can sustainably cut 1.8 million cubic meters annually from its private holdings. With U.S. housing starts and increased demand from China, Timber West is increasingly exporting raw logs. For island pulp mills, it means sourcing fiber is becoming an ongoing battle.
We don't want to see it get to the point where you have so many raw logs being exported that either pulp mills have to curtail operations or sawmills. You want to really encourage the value-added products because that's what creates jobs in the forest industry in Canada.
Harmac met with the forest minister Tuesday to discuss the issue. Meantime, environmentalists are concerned about old-growth forest in Muir Creek and Coxsila west of Shawnigan Lake, where 600 to 800-year-old trees stand over 4 hectares, some more than 80 meters tall. Timber West has so far preserved these ancient giants.
So we're hoping that the next owners honor those commitments to not log those areas until negotiations from various levels of government can purchase those endangered old growth stands.
As to whether we'll see Timber West forest turn into real estate, the minister isn't worried.
No, I think they see the long-term benefit of the forest side operations of Timber West,
which says it has 60 days to find a higher bid than the $1.03 billion on the table.
Tonight, questions surround the construction of Port Alberni's yet-to-be-finished new high school. A subcontractor claims he's owed more than $1 million for unpaid work, and that he has 24 employees unpaid for the 4 weeks they worked on the site. Kendall Hansen has that story.
Port Alberni's new high school site has been controversial from the beginning, but with construction well underway, a new controversy has risen to the surface, and these former workers on the site are the victims.
It's not good. I mean, bills need to be paid, and food needs to get put on the table, and they don't want to pay the money. So yeah, it's frustrating.
These men are leading an information picket. They're among 24 employees who worked for Walton Excavating. For close to 6 months, they worked on the school's foundation, removing soil and trucking in gravel. The amount of fill removed was greater than anyone expected, but then all of a sudden in mid-February, the main contractor, Yellow Ridge Construction, informed Walton Excavating they were no longer working at the site.
We basically got the boot out of here and then no money. So all these guys that are here are left still owing wages.
So who's responsible here?
Well, Yellow Ridge for their lack of communication with the school district.
Ted Walton says Yellow Ridge Construction knew his company was removing extra soil, but when the school district said there would be no extra money despite the extra work, Yellow Ridge cut them loose. And even though Yellow Ridge paid them more than the original contract price, Walton says they still owe nearly $1.2 million.
I'm hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. I can't pay my guys. I own a lot of machinery and stuff. I got to make the payments on it.
We spoke to the site manager for Yellow Ridge Construction, David Lawback, and he says he was not available for an on-camera interview today because he was too busy in meetings. He says there is a dispute with one of its subcontractors, but he was not willing to discuss the numbers. A further news release says Yellow Ridge considers that the subcontractor has been paid in accordance with their contract for all work performed. The school district says the dispute is between the two companies. Isn't it the school district's responsibility to hire contractors who don't run into troubles like this?
I'm sure that in any contract of this nature there are difficulties, and certainly we had a very comprehensive selection process. We chose an excellent contractor from a very good list of contractors.
These construction workers shocked to be in this situation on a federally and provincially funded project. The workers say they're consulting lawyers for potential legal action.
RCMP in the Cowichan Valley are investigating a possible abduction attempt. A 17-year-old girl reported a man repeatedly tried to get inside his vehicle. The incident happened this morning at a bus stop south of Duncan. Police are looking for someone they describe as a scruffy-looking white male in his 40s driving a white van. Victoria police have 2 men in custody tonight after a standoff began early this morning. Residents of an apartment building were evacuated and barricades went up along Quadra Street as Victoria police, along with the emergency response team, surrounded the apartment after reports of a domestic dispute getting out of hand. The standoff ended peacefully late this afternoon with 2 men giving up.
Based on some information that he may be in possession of a firearm and his extensive police history, we activated the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team. They were on scene for several hours negotiating with the man. Crisis negotiators also spoke to him by phone constantly throughout the day. About 2:30 this afternoon, the accused and another 29-year-old individual exited the suite and surrendered to emergency response team members without incident.
The men, 28 and 29 years old, are both known to police and are facing several charges. Well, we're on the eve of playoff action. The Canucks take on the Blackhawks in Game 1 tomorrow night in Vancouver. And you don't have to go far to see a flag or a jersey or a hat with a Canuck logo on it. It's playoff fever spreading throughout the province. Bruce Kirkpatrick now with a report.
The playoffs are already underway at Derek Green's house in Chase River, South Nanaimo.
Scores! They even got Vancouver Canuck Street. If you're not a Canuck fan, you don't park there. Go Canucks, go.
This 46-year-old food service truck driver has been a Canuck since he was born and a hockey fan almost as long.
Years ago, you know, when Trevor Linden was around and, you know, well, living here in BC, you know, you got to pick a team.
He scores a lot of goals and hopes Chicago's goalie is just as soft. His living room is ready.
55-inch TV, gotta like that. This shirt doesn't fit me or my son, so I just thought, oh, I'll put it up.
Now, what about Chicago?
Chicago, I went, oh, yeah, it took me a minute to, you know,
The chair waits tomorrow's Game 1 of the Canucks-Blackhawks playoffs. Back outside, neighbor Norm knows all about Derek, who has a habit of whistling loudly outside every time a Canuck scores.
That's right, so I've heard. I haven't heard him, but I've been told. Yeah. And he's hard at it again.
The hat in front of the kids. The remote programmed. Refreshment, you sweat a lot watching hockey. Wearing the scarf he won't take off until Vancouver is done.
They're going to win because I'm wearing this.
So it goes at Derek's house in Nanaimo inside and out.
This is the life. Kessler comes down, shoots, gives him a shot. Oh, they go into the creek.
Uh-oh, hockey forbid. What if?
If they don't make it this year, stuff comes down, but it'll go back up next year.
Not to worry, Chicago isn't the team they were last year, and Derek says once Vancouver gets past the Blackhawks, it's a walk down Canuck Street all the way to the Stanley Cup.
And more now on Game 1 and the rest of sports as we're joined by Mike Walker. Mike?
I feel like we're going to get a lot of letters and emails of people saying that they're a bigger Canucks fan over the next few days. But it's all hockey tonight, Tony, and why not? The chase for the Stanley Cup kicks off tomorrow, and of course the Vancouver Canucks will play host to the Chicago Blackhawks for a third season in a row. And coming up tonight in sports, we'll break down what may be the difference maker this year around and how the Canucks power play could be the key to finally eliminating the Hawks in postseason play, with the series opener between Chicago and Vancouver now under 24 hours away. All that coming up a little later on in the complete sports report.
Mike, thanks very much. No more close encounters as new whale watching rules come into effect. That story and much more still to come on CHEK News.
I'm Ed Bain. Your full island forecast is coming up. But first, here's a look at some holiday hotspots.
Resort temperatures are brought to you by Big O Tires on Quadra, voted Victoria's #1 tire store.
Hi, I'm George Linger from the Finishing Store, and I support local television. You're watching CHEK.
2011, and Michael Ignatieff wants to be Prime Minister. But what has he done for you? He didn't bother to show for 2/3 of the key confidence votes last year, and he had the worst attendance record of all 308 members of Parliament. Not so great leadership.
You can count on me to fight for your family, day in and day out, for health care, for pensions, and to make your life more affordable. That's Canadian leadership.
Isn't it time you gave yourself permission to look amazing? MD Aesthetics and CHEK News again want you to win a $10,000 personal makeover package in the 3rd annual Look Amazing contest. It includes customized skin rejuvenation, teeth whitening, hair, personal training, a photography session, and more. Send in a photo and a brief explanation of why you deserve this incredible package to www.lookamazing.ca. Contest ends April 24th. Look amazing with MD Aesthetics and CHEK News.
Don't mind
mind the noise or mess. At Jenner Chevrolet Buick GMC, we're renovating our entire dealership to better serve you. So we're having a construction sale to make room. And our lineup of vehicles have never been better. The Chevrolet Cruze and Buick Regal and Silverado and GMC heavy-duty pickups are just the start. And coming this year, the 2012 Sonic and revolutionary Volt electric car. So come get a great deal during our construction sale. On now at Jenner Chevrolet Buick GMC on the Old On Highway.
I'm a guy, and let's face it, guys like meat. At the market stores, we pay particular attention to the meat we sell.
It's true. You will find the best cuts prepared right here on site, and we go that extra mile to find something special.
Like buffalo burger, nice and lean, Cowichan Bay chickens, organically grown, and AAA Alberta beef.
Talk to the staff. Find out what's on special today.
Guys, you're gonna like it here. The market stores, healthy food for a healthy lifestyle.
To be young, starting out, and dead. Dead like me. Mondays at 9 on CHEK.
Whale watching in the Strait of Juan de Fuca is about to become a little more complicated. New regulations south of the border will go into effect next month, expanding the boundaries between vessels and the whales. While there are no plans to follow suit here in Canada, experts are calling for action. Kylie Stanton explains.
It's a Vancouver Island attraction. Pods of killer whales coming out of nowhere, putting on a show.
Look at that.
But this endangered species knows no boundaries, and the closer they get, the more hazardous it becomes.
We've only got 86 of these orcas out there. We've got 76 commercial boats chasing them night and day, where they have scouts and they track them down from sunrise to sunset. And we're not adequately controlling that problem.
The United States is bringing in new regulations next month. Vessels must not approach any killer whale within a distance of 200 yards or 183 meters, and must steer clear of the path of oncoming whales out to 400 yards or 366 meters. But in Canada, a distance of only 100 meters is required. Rules experts say don't measure up.
These killer whales don't understand that there's a border between our two countries, so regulations that are passed in the States and regulations that are brought into effect in Canada really need to be aligned.
For whale-watching vessels moving through the Juan de Fuca Strait, it makes for a difficult system to navigate.
There's a little bit more maneuvering and creating engine noise, maybe more so than it used to be. 200 will probably make that even more so again.
But there's little faith expanding the boundaries addresses the bigger issues. The pods are facing a food shortage as Chinook salmon is depleted and toxins plague their environment. Taking action is up to the federal government.
DFO has really dropped the ball. There's a whole mindset that needs to change within DFO to see themselves beyond a resource manager to a regulator, to a protector, to a champion of the environment. And it's a mantle that they don't wear well.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans declined to comment on the matter, leaving the already endangered species at risk.
Who is it that wants to explain to those orcas that, hey, if you really want to be safe, stay on the American side of the water. Don't come near the breakwater in Victoria because we don't have good laws to protect you.
Well, it's staying dry in most areas, but we're still not achieving our seasonal high temperatures. Let's check on the forecast now with Ed. Ed?
All right, Tony, well, we're back to that cloud-covered cool day again today, and cool is going to be the key word here for the next several days, as again, we have these temperatures well off the normal figures. 13 is now normal, 8 and 9 is going to be the trend for the next few days. Here's the trouble, low pressure offshore, and there's the front coming right in. So with that, we're getting showers and then rain. Looks like most of this is going to come in late day tomorrow, so late afternoon with some wind starting off as showers and then getting the rain going overnight for not all of Vancouver Island, but certainly the midsection is going to see the rainfall for tomorrow night. Showers tonight and tomorrow for the North Island, a drop down to 2, about an 8-degree day for tomorrow. So as we said, that appears to be sort of the popular temperature here for the next couple of days. Might have some good news now on the weekend. Things are changing a little bit for Saturday. We'll show you that in our 7-day forecast on the way. All right, there's the rain for the west side for tomorrow, but again, that is late day, so showers to begin and then change into rain sort of late afternoon, early evening with that 8-degree day. So another cool one here for West Vancouver Island, cool for all of the island for that matter, East Island included, with an 8-degree day for tomorrow. Rain also building in here. Southeast winds gusting to about 60 kilometers an hour and that rain, as we said, will probably get in mostly by tomorrow late afternoon or early evening. Down into Nanaimo, Parksville, and Ladysmith, a 4-degree low and 8-degree high, so a pretty consistent weather pattern here from night to day with wind and rain both overnight tonight and through tomorrow. It's going to ease off to showers in the early part of the day and then build back into rain as the day carries on. South Island, I think we're going to be mostly showered rather than rain dealt with for tomorrow, with showers getting in overnight tonight and then through tomorrow later days. So could be dry for tomorrow morning. Afternoon, definitely going to see those showers get in here as well, and that 9-degree high well off the 13 normal figure for this time of the year for the southern tip. All right, here's the map of BC. Not a whole lot of sunshine left anywhere now. Prince George will see some, at least for a part of the day. It's going to cloud up there later on. Fort St. John could actually get a flurry, about 40% that chance late day there as well at 5 degrees. Showers out in Rupert, and the wind picking up for Vancouver tomorrow. Showers and a 9-degree high, so you know, a good well, a good 4 or 5 at least off the normal figures there for Vancouver. Kelowna about the 9-degree mark as well, and Cranbrook up into the double digits at 12, but some showers. All right, the national map. Here's the story now for Wednesday across the nation. 4 for Victoria, for Whitehorse in cloud, Yellowknife at -8, but a good bright day up there. And then Edmonton and Calgary both around the 3 and 4 degree mark. Showers into Calgary. A good run of sunshine for Regina and Winnipeg, but not very warm. They had a 12-degree day in Winnipeg today. They'll get 2 tomorrow. 12 tomorrow in Thunder Bay as the east continues to get some pretty decent temperatures. Still in the 13 to 14 degree range for Toronto, but rain getting into Ottawa and Montreal. All right, the 777s now for the Tom Harris Group. So the North Island remains sort of unchanged with unsettled, showery, cool conditions right down the stretch here. 8 and 9 degree highs. Lows around the 3-degree mark, and not much change well into Sunday and Monday of next week, really. Central Island, a few bright spots showing up here now into the weekend. So once we get through the rain tomorrow, we'll be into more of a showery pattern on Thursday, back into another little run of rain with another little impulse on Friday. But Saturday, we could clear out at least for a day and get some sunshine in the central portion of Vancouver Island, the Comox Valley, and then back into some showers on Sunday, and a slightly warmer 10s and 12s. Taking over from 8s and 7s. And then the South Island, well, we'll be into the showery pattern here for the rest of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday all look like that. 8s and 9s. It doesn't change much for temperature-wise on Saturday, but the conditions at least look better in a mix of sun and cloud on Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday we're back into showers, but 12s and 13s at least, so a little bit warmer. So we continue to be well below where we should be, Tony. Showers for the rest of the run here, but at least down the road into the weekend, a little bit of promise, at least for today.
All right, Ed, thanks very much. Mike Walker next with sports. First, though, a quick look at tonight's money numbers.
Facing life head on, just like you, north of 49, Fridays at 7:30 on CHEK.
At Walmart, we're committed to saving you money every time you shop. And rollbacks deliver that. It's all about lowering prices. Lowering prices here, lowering prices there. They're everywhere. More rollbacks on groceries. Count them. 1, 2, 211. We've got thousands of rollbacks. Woohoo! They're down every aisle. I eat chips all the time. Rollbacks, that's just one way to get unbeatable prices. My name's Brad. I'm a market manager at Walmart. Walmart, save money, live better.
I'm at Boston Pizza. I'm here to critique their new wings. Taking a look at a flatty. Excellent nib. Very happy with the nub. Exceptional meat apex. Nice Gilmorgan. Was not expecting that. Well done. Diving in. Oh, dorsal meat heaven. Knock me down and call me Susan. That's a wing. Good stuff, Boston Pizza.
We only eat Campbell's chunky soup with a fork. We come from a long line of forkers. Dinner time's got to be quick and real, and prime rib is as real as it gets.
Real?
Like big chunks of lean seasoned beef and lots of vegetables, not some greasy pizza. It's got to be so hearty, you eat it with a fork.
Not a spoon?
It's what my grandpa taught me. He was a fork man trying to make it in a spoon world.
Chunky, the soup that eats like a meal.
It's the first time we've ever had a food critic.
But this prime rib grandma burger is attracting a highfalutin kind of crowd. The flavor of the caramelized onions really complements the prime rib patty quite nicely. I think you'll formidable. That's good, right? Formidably.
The new prime rib grandma burger, only $3.99 at A&W.
You know, some of the biggest stories in this province are coming from this newsroom right here on Vancouver Island.
Teach them how to work, teach them to have self-esteem.
From Port Hardy to Port Renfrew, from the Saanich Peninsula to Brooks Peninsula, we uncover the story.
This is a joke. It's a disaster.
Because we know you want to know what's happening every night.
Teach them to give a damn.
CHEK News, your story. Well, the Canucks fans are ready, the team is ready, and it's getting pretty exciting, Mike.
Yeah, Tony, I thought the federal election debate was the perfect precursor to playoff hockey, wasn't it? Just got the energy going, and it's just one more sleep until the puck drops on what everyone hopes will be a long and successful playoff run for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, our very own Jeff King will be reporting live from Vancouver tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in to CHEK News at 5, when Jeff will welcome Victoria native and former Canuck Jeff Courtnall to the program to chat about Vancouver's 94 playoff run and how this edition of the Canucks fares heading into the postseason. Now, if you think you're excited for Game 1 against the Blackhawks tomorrow night, just take a listen to how the players are feeling.
I'm embracing it fully. I mean, I'm like a little kid right now. I can't wait to get going.
Everybody's pretty excited here, and seems like we've been waiting for this for a while now.
It's exciting. Obviously, there's a little bit of anxiety and stuff for the first game, but it's a good energy, I think.
Oh, it's the best time of the year. It's I say it every year. It's awesome. It's fun being out in the city and talking to people, and I mean, they're so supportive.
Everyone you bump into on the street, you ride the elevator up to your apartment, and people are like, "Go get them in the playoffs," and it just kind of gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling that everyone's behind you.
Now, a lot of experts and fans alike are picking the Canucks to go all the way this year. The reason? The team's great regular season. And one of the facets of the game that the Canucks have really excelled in this year is the power play. In fact, it could be the one aspect that finally gets Vancouver past Chicago. Legendary coach Scotty Bowman once said, "Statistics are for losers." But as far as the Vancouver Canucks are concerned, statistics paint a pretty nice picture heading into the postseason, especially when it comes to the power play.
A precision power play for Vancouver.
I like our personnel in the power play. We got shooters and passers and guys that do the job in front of the net. So I like our lineup on the power play.
And what's not to like? The Canucks had the best power play in the NHL all season, clicking just below 25%. Chicago, on the other hand, had a penalty kill that struggled near the bottom of the league, ranked 25th out of all 30 teams.
Like the hooking penalties and that kind of thing, yeah, maybe they'll think twice about it, but at the end of the day, if we're taking pucks to the net and they got to pull us down, then we'll try to make them pay on the power play.
Hopefully we stay out of the box. They got some pretty skilled guys up front, and they've had success all season long. We know that, so I don't know if there's any one way to defend it. You just hope to limit their opportunities and stay out of the box.
We know the importance of special teams in the series, and we're going to need to be strong in both areas because we know how good they are.
So expect the Blackhawks to be on their best behavior when the puck drops Wednesday night. Otherwise, this series could be a short one. Meanwhile, the Victoria Salmon Kings were back on the ice today ahead of their second-round Kelly Cup playoff series against Utah, which begins Friday night down in Salt Lake City. The Grizzlies finished the season 5 points ahead of the Victoria in the standings, but the Kings won the season series between the two clubs. But as these guys will tell you, at this time of year, you can throw all of those numbers right out the window.
We don't really look at the regular season. They're a good hockey club. We played them with their full lineup at Christmas time. I think they beat us both games there. So, they're first place team going down into January there, and then they lost a bunch of guys. Recently just got a bunch of guys back. So, they do have a good hockey team. There's no question about it.
They've always known that they can go out and beat anybody. And, they feel like that now, although Utah is a first-place hockey club, or they have been for most of the season with their lineup that they have now. We don't really have much to lose here. I mean, we're going to go in and, as Jeff Harris said on the radio there, let's not turn the lights out on us yet.
Finally, while most UVic teams are wrapping up for the year, the men's and women's golf teams are preparing for the postseason. And as Paul Haysom shows us, the women should make some noise this year as they're led by Victoria's own Megan Woodland.
It takes just one look at Megan Woodland's swing to realize this is no weekend hacker. In fact, far from it. The second-year UVic student is on fire right now, coming off a first-place finish in Prim, Nevada, with an amazing final round of 73.
We went to that tournament last year and I struggled a bit on the course, so I was really looking forward to getting a bit of revenge out there, and I played really well. My putting was amazing throughout the tournament, so I was just really confident out on the course and I played really well.
The 19-year-old Claremont grad is the star of the UVic Vikes women's team, who right now are ranked 6th in the NAIA. But for head coach Brian Carberry, it's no surprise his star pupil is rounding into form.
She last year was a first-team All-Canadian, first-team NAIA All-American. She's just bringing her game up to the next level, which for us, she's a leader on our team.
But as a young star, mastering the mental side of the game is also very tough. 21-year-old Rory McIlroy found that out the hard way after imploding on Championship Sunday at Augusta.
He was playing so well through the first 3 rounds and through the first 9 on the last round, and then he just collapsed, and it was so hard to watch. You just have to learn from what happened and the experience and just kind of know that happens and move on from it and just learn, and hopefully it won't happen again.
She's so level-headed on the golf course. I don't have to worry about her imploding or getting upset at herself. She just carries on and plays and just lets go hit the next shot.
Woodland's next shot will be looking to lead her Vikes to an NAIA title in Greenville, Tennessee. But as far as a long-term future, the swinging star is pretty laid back about going pro.
I think so. It's in the back of my mind. Just if I keep loving the game and keep wanting to compete, then it's definitely in the back of my mind.
And it's pretty easy to keep in the back of your mind when your ball keeps hitting the back of the cup.
All right, Tony, so that Vancouver-Chicago series begins tomorrow night, 7 o'clock over on CBC. And a lot has been made about statistics heading into the playoffs for Vancouver. How about this? Montreal hosted the Olympics in 1976. The Canadiens, 1 year later, won the Stanley Cup in 77. Jump ahead to 1988, and the Calgary hosting the Olympics. The Flames won the Cup in 89. Vancouver hosting the Olympics in 2010. And who knows what we've got this spring. The next 2 months are going to reveal a lot.
Interesting set of numbers, Mike. Yeah, they also have to stay pretty much injury-free. That's been a bad department for them this year, too.
We'll see. It's going to be a fun spring in Vancouver.
Absolutely exciting, too. Thanks, Mike. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
If your child is